Hello, dear ones. Today I have a longer call to you, a longer sharing of intuition, of all that I have to communicate to you in these times. And it's all about unidentification. You know, many of you, when you undergo awakening, you find that all that you could feel and all that you experienced as a misfit of society really seems to lead to one way, to spirituality and to the discovery of ascension. The ascension over our system and the religion that was a very narrow custom for many of us, and a conservatism that really, from our today's understanding, didn't serve, letting us create for others the dreams of others, while we were remaining in the dream, in the hope that this might change for us, as long as we just contribute, as long as we just do our job from our best knowledge. And there's nothing wrong about that, right? It is how we have been raised, and it is what we expected from others all along the way. The same is with solidarity. And the good news is, when you really liberate yourself from your mind constructs that are there, that are very present, that are calling you into action, that are responsible for the next and what's next and how does it go on now and what is about the future. And you can detach from that, and when you can unidentify from a role, a societal role that you were actually playing, taking for the last time of your life, for the last decade, let's say, or even as a starter, you will see that you are so much more than everyone wants you to feel, then everyone would also allow you to think, because then you are a misfit, and then the consequence is that you are excluded of society. So what was there? The mark of the beast. And I want to start with that. When we have a look at the beast, and we will see this animal in front of the United Nations, this creature that has a jaguar's head, wings of an eagle, a snake's tail, paws of a bear or of a lion, you can say it as you wish, some aspects of a horse or something equine, and all the colors of the rainbow. So what could United Nations mean with that? Many would say, yeah, they are presenting us the devil, they are presenting us the beast, and they say, hey, look, this is the beast, and this is the revelations we would like to put your focus on. So be aware of the revelations of the Bible. Yes, it certainly is as described in the Bible, the beast. But when we cling to our starseed agenda that I also published quite some time ago, with the proof that this is a CIA agenda for the age of Aquarius, and you have to know that, then who is actually meant with the beast? You know, when you follow my channel for longer, you have already seen how I see things. I divide our essence of our being here in this physical plane, in our body, and in the non-physical parts of soul, higher self, Atman, and the spirit itself, which are part of our upper three chakra, as the feminine, our body, which is here, our lower parts from the plexus solar into the root and into the earth star, which is the alpha, the ninth chakra, when we have access to it again. As above, there's the solar star about 1 meter above our heads, which is the omega, the eighth chakra, which is the light, the true light of source, the connection to the natural consciousness. So when we find this again, we are aware that we are everything and nothing. And by saying this, and everyone knows in their path, we represent unity as everything and nothing. That includes also the dark side. Yes, it includes the dark side as well. Because everything we see and everything that is here is part of creation, and thereby it simply is, without any judgment from our limited point of view as a human being. This sounds quite harsh, this sounds discomfortable for many who simply wish to be good people in this game of life that we experience in these times. But when we have a closer look now, coming back to the beast that is described, many of us who already have access to the ancestry again and do the inner work, they will find that we have ancestry in many of the so-called starseed races. That this cosmic origin of our DNA may be also fallen, and thereby, and this is something from my own observation that I wish to share, our subconscious, our ego, may be steered here and there to fulfill missions. And these missions, identifying as a starseed, they feel completely correct. So when we, well, did I get this? So this is the first thing I would wish to pass. Some of you experienced with me when I did the grit work in Latin America, in Cali, 1.5 years ago, or basically 2 years ago, in November 2021. They saw what happened when I did the grit work there. The trumpets in the sky turned on, right? So, and I was really excited about that. And I thought, oh, great, I did something really good. And I still felt the strong calling by that time that I would need to find the keys to invoke the great solar flash. So this was my program running, right from DNA, coming clearly from the ancestry into my subconscious mind, rising there and giving me clear instructions. Then I have done the integration, and I saw all these different lineages within. They are plentiful, and that's probably the same to you. And this is the design of life itself, so to say, that one aspect, one malevolent aspect from the past days carried within can be healed by the light of our soul, by the light of spirit acting through us, flowing through us, embodying this vessel that is just one part of us called the ancestry, and that is merged together with the divine fractal of life itself. And all of us together representing the overall divine consciousness. Yeah. So the Atman is our connect. And with time, when I worked along the ancestry, I could realize that these aspects there from my ancestors that were not healed by that time, they were communicating these missions to me, what they wished to be done, and so on and so on. And when I was honest then with myself, it really terrorized me, because I saw, wow, what I am called to do as a starseed directly correlates with the plan of the New World Order. To create chaos and the event and the cataclysm and all of this crap. And Gaia, by that time, when I lived with the indigenous, helped me and gave me another impression, said to me, you know, my boy, I see it like the fatherly divine essence within you. We don't need any destruction. We don't need to cling to any prediction, any prophecy, because you guys, all of you, my children, you create what you would like to achieve. By that I understood that the rise of Gaia will depend on every single point of consciousness, interconnected in this web of consciousness, who we are, every single one of us. Isn't that beautiful? So by knowing that, and that's what I wish to pass on, we have to take responsibility, to be very, very honest with our spiritually formed ego, which might be really comfortable in the meanwhile, giving you the power here in this plane to pay your rent, your debt, your invoices every month. But this is not the idea of receiving divine grace, to bring it into this world, right? This is a present. We are called to share and pass on without any charge normally. And all right, we have to make a living as well. So let's don't say this is a price tag anymore, but this is my recommendation for present I receive in return from your energy when you take my service as a way shower, as a healer, as a shaman, whatever, right? And this is not mandatory. You pay as you can, but when you can give me also more. So we have to revive the spirit. It's a true spirit of abundance here. And so this is very important. And now we come back to this symbol of the beast. When we see what the United Nations does, and we know it was infiltrated by the Khazarians, who infiltrated the elite of Germany back in the day, in the 19th and 20th century, together with Thule Society, who later on formed the SS, then we know that with Operation Paperclip, all this elite was extracted from Germany and brought to the US to form big associations like NATO, like United Nations, like the European Commission, DARPA, and so on. Big associations who are steering the fate of humanity in these times. And this is what you easily find when you do your research. So there's no need for blaming. As there's no need for blaming the Judaism that people who are part of the Jewish religion would be responsible for that. This is bullshit, yeah? I want to pass this on. Don't blame nobody. Just have a look at every individual who is acting out their skill set in these times for who they truly are. And from there you may have an impression, and from there you may relate the connections in this game of power on this one side. And well, it's just not correct to blame any single one out there in advance because of a religion or of a skin color or of anything that these people do. Yeah? This is very, very important to know and realize. And yes, it's a false flag operation that's going back to the 11th century, where the Khazarians, as a Mongolian tribe of pagans, infiltrated Eastern Europe so badly that the Russian emperor forced them to take a religion. And there they entered Judaism. And they used it within time, later on, as the Zionists, to create a cloak. Because they victimized the Jewish religion and wanted to get out all the original members, who are the people of origin. The root people of us in Europe are from Northern Africa and up down to Sudan, Egypt, yeah? From all this region around there, Israel today and Iran, Iraq. This is our cradle where the European life comes from originally. And through settlement and replacement delocation, we wandered up north and there we manifested. So this is what you will find when you do the research of archaeology. All right, so much said, coming back to this creature in front of United Nations. So United Nations shows us the beast, and we are talking about the mark of the beast in regard to the revelations. And as we know now, we are shown an inversion most of the time. And when we have a look at that, we will easily see that we are called by that. It's a direct attack on us. So look, guys, you human collective, you are the beast for us. For us emperors, you are the beast and you need a mark because we are your owners. So this is my interpretation of the mark of the beast. And since I returned to my Shakti energy, which is a very, very beautiful thing to happen for every man. And I just can recommend it to reconnect with your divine feminine side, with your own darkness within. For us, the shadow self is the feminine side. As for a woman, the shadow side, the shadow self is the divine masculine side. So this is by design. And I put a video here into the description of the text, which is very short, and by J.G. Young explains this in 2.5 minutes. You will understand immediately. And by the integration of our shadow self, that is not evil at all, not at all, but an inevitable part to our being, we heal the ancestry, we heal our body, we heal our DNA from what we inherited from our beautiful and powerful ancestors. And by having a look into our shadow and healing it, we extract from all the shadow all our true, pure light. We get from our own Akash, we get our own gold as the alchemist, which is the light that is embedded in the unrealized potential of our shadow self, which is not evil at all. Of course, there have been karmic and action in our own soul line, in our own ancestry, which is absolutely not acceptable and tolerable from today's point of consciousness, of overall consciousness. We'll see that as well. But therefore, we have this wonderful technique called Ho'oponopono, which is a Huna technique of the Kahuna culture of Hawaii Maui. And they are under attack now. Guess why? Because the old indigenous knowledge in these days is truly a key to remember the essence of humanity in a pure way. Although some stuff is outdated, of course. The red path of magic, for example, for myself is outdated, but with a lot of love and with a lot of co-creation with these people, we can address these points and we can talk and we will be heard, and this will not be in the moral aspect of our being in the Western world. Every one of you who is now complaining about the elite in the Western world, in Europe, in the United States of America, in Australia, all of you are part of the elite. May I say that like that? You are not in the club maybe, but be glad you aren't. But you have a smartphone, you have to eat whatever you want all the time, 24/7. You have a roof over your head. You won't have to freeze in winter. Most of you have a car. So you can travel wherever you want. So this is elite for me. There is no them and us. And we have to learn that. And we have to understand that, to stop blaming someone in the external for our own unwillingness to see the true essence of who we truly are. So this deep inner work liberates a lot. You will see all that didn't go right with your ancestors. You will see where you, as a consciousness point of the one, struggled and didn't solve your own trouble that you received over and over again. And to get this into a frame that is better to understood, I would like to say that some of the indigenous cultures see one single life as just one day, that your soul, that your essence returns here to live one day, just one day, the whole life, to then return to source, and then return again with all the lessons learned during one life. So all the time that we are used over here does not apply in the game of eternity. Yeah? Very important. So when we know we are seen at the beast, when we know about our character, at least the star seeds, and that's why I address this again, of being fractalized beings as hybrids, as sleepers, so to say, with all this built-in pitfalls of our own ancestry, of our own affiliation to fallen DNA lines. We know about our responsibility to take care of that, to not go into the outside anymore, to do missions or whatever. I say this is dangerous, especially when you don't know the reason and the purpose. And I don't say go back now where we all already have done stuff, but connect with that and ask to your higher self, this time just to the higher self, when you haven't done any ancestral work, and bring this topic up, what I speak to you today, and reflect it, please. This is very important. And if you feel triggered, you know why you feel triggered. And this is not to shame you, to let you look bad. Many of us do have this. And the more important it is now to act honest with this information. It is just you. But when you decide to heal that, you heal it for everyone else in this game. Imagine a big house, maybe even the Tower of Babel, right? Imagine the Tower of Babel. And it is built of, let's say, everyone has 2 bricks, one for the soul and one for the ancestry. So we have 8 billion people, roundabout. So we have 16 billion bricks. And everyone does the soul's work and the integration of trauma with the inner child and so on, and takes out the first brick. And this house is still standing because, let's say, it is built very, very safe and very appropriate from the human mind. Yeah. Then when you finally get to the point that you go into your shadow self via the earth star chakra, you take your second brick out, and at a certain point, when sufficient people do that, and that's not a lot who need to do that, this house falls together. The Tower of Babel falls, right? This is the image I wish to draw to you today. So we can do that in full motivation and with the knowledge that it is sufficient, that you help yourself all along. And when you are called already to service to other, don't stop that, do that, but do it enriched by this point of awareness I passed to you today. Because you will learn way more when you can agree with yourself internally that the complete detachment of the outcome without any expectation is there. You just do it unconditional for the best interest of your brother or sister, receiving also a lot of knowledge and wisdom from this encounter. Right? So it's always a give and take, always a give and take. Never is it just one directional. Last but not least, I wish to invite you wherever you are in Europe and elsewhere in the whole world for co-creation, for intensified co-creation. I'm a traveling healer, wayshower, and master alchemist. I'm here for you, and these times I am in peace with both polarities. That does not mean that I use by any means any of the fallen techniques anymore. Yeah, I let go completely of the Kabbalah, upright and fallen form, and even of the gnosis with the live lotus and the Katara grid. I had a look at everything. I internalized the knowledge via my masculine, from my higher mind, from the manas, and I understood, and by that I received back the connection into the Godhead, so to say. And this is great. In this moment, my feminine part, my heart and Gaia, they told me, okay, lad, now you're done with your remembrance, with your education, now it's time to let this go. You don't need it anymore, because when you are wandering the world in the capability that you have activated now, this is sufficient, and the rest comes, and you can just do it from your being as you are. You don't need to do anything for that. This needs to be effortless, and effortlessness is the best tool of analytics that you have in your hands to control your own progress. If something feels correct, it needs to also be effortless for you. And I promise you, even the money and all the energy you desire in this world for change will come to you. But take the service to other as your personal trial to prove worthy. After all, right? So some motivation. That's a tough one for many of you. And still, I need to bring this up. And we had a lot of discussion recently about the white light and the tunnel that forms when we die. I will also put a video or some videos for that down here, because it's an important topic. And in case you do you give company to people who are in this process of leaving at the moment, of checking out because they are not in the mood anymore. Be aware of that. Tell them not to go into the white light. This is indigenous knowledge. Actually, I was back checking this, And we remain in the darkness, and this is in the inversion down here, the true light. See it like the synchronicity that we have up there in the stars every night. What do you see? You see 99% darkness, you see 1% true light. This is the reality. And within, this is exactly the same. And darkness doesn't mean it is evil. Darkness simply means it is not aware of itself. In the moment we transform darkness into light, we inherit all the knowledge that is us directly. And this factor from not knowing what is coming up in emotions from below into our sacral, then into the solar plexus, even if the channel is free again, this cannot just rain through anymore. You will have the light from above coming into the heart, and this impulse coming from below, and you will exactly know where this is from, right? So you don't go into action most of the time. You just continue what you already do. Yeah. Well, don't be insulted that you are the beast after all. Take it as a big compliment, because when we integrate all of this given aspects that are in our ancestry and that are not so easy to access and handle, well, of course we are the beast for the ones who would like to be in charge, right? And we are not stoppable anymore, and we will not play as a beast. This is just what I share from my intuition. The beast machine and all of this on the other side, from the higher aspects of spirituality, this is another story. This is completely correct as it is. I don't touch this. But I don't touch it at all anymore. I don't want to touch it with magic. I don't want to touch it with rituals. I don't want to touch it with fulfilling missions. And I recommend strongly that when you have been called to missions for grid work and so on, and you see this video right now, that you go back into your heart from your standpoint today, from this activation received in insight, maybe, when this resonates with you, and call back the part of the ancestry to the process you've already done. And in a prayer, align all the very, very valuable grid work that you have done to the highest interest of Mother Earth and God. And this will be done, and it will be granted. All right? So there's nothing lost. Don't be afraid. I can just tell you, we will not have a split in two planets. We will not see the fall of this planet, of this Earth, of this wonderful playground that is here for us to learn. We will not see that. I have received different information of Gaia. She is absolutely not in the mood to go with all the black magic. And we grid workers who have worked from our unknowing intuition back in the day, who are knowledgeable now, we have that. And we will pass on this message to everyone so they can take responsibility. And, well, when a great reset is ordered by the 1% and the 99% says, yes, of course, but to our conditions, because we have a voting right of 99 to 1, well, imagine this word. There's no poverty anymore. There's nothing that can threaten us anymore, because when we are aware of that, the beast, it's still funny to me, I'm sorry, but it's still funny. We as humanity, as a wild mix, we will maneuver this game into what we all hope to see. And it will happen, it will manifest. Yeah? So this is my message for today. And the absolute detachment of every role of all that we see is the prerequisite. That does not mean that we cannot use what we have learned during our lives, but it is just the identification that brings us into a situation where we are willing to fight for something, and prophecy is a big part of that, that is just made out of our mind. And we are here as all the power of divine essence we are here to learn humility with the mind and to bring this mind into a form where it serves us, which is the second position after the heart within. So in the external, empathy and our emotional intelligence have the lead over the IQ, and both of them together form intelligence. The IQ just stands for intellect, right? My message for today, I send blessings to every one of you and wish you a grand rising. And please remain in positivity. It's already done. We just have to play it now. And we are here for our collective of brethren who are waking up now, one by one. And you will see. And they will not all die. I promise you that. Because it's a quantum therapy. And I spoke about that as well. Video is down there. And we signed up for that. So we can use, and this is co-creation as well, we can use the dark deeds that our brothers in the darkness, in the true darkness, in the meaning of evil, create to take this over as alchemists with all the experience that we carry and alchemize it into goodness, into awesomeness. We can take the scary picture created and just transform it into our ascension. And last but not least, to close this, have you ever seen a diamond created out of carbon without the application of pressure in the dark? I haven't. So check out how a diamond is made and you will exactly know what I'm talking about. With this, I want to wish you a blessed time. Take care of yourselves emotionally. Do the shadow work with yourself. And maybe you find beauty in that when you feel the true essence coming back to you and feel the liberation of your ancestors that waited for long, 9 generations of ancestors who had to agree to this, that you are the one, the black sheep, the one who may heal this for all the family in all timelines. In Lakesh, Alakin, Shalom, and Namaste to everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.